Well, it's all happening tomorrow.
Welcome to Crocs in the Hotel Room.
I'm Jessica.
And I am Brian. Yes, as you can see, we are not home. We are actually back up in Rochester, Minnesota. And Jessica, why are we back up in Rochester, Minnesota?
Because tomorrow, Monday, January 16th, 2023, I am officially having surgery.
Yes, a big surgery. Very big surgery. Now, some of you had previously commented on the last update video that we had done when we said that we weren't getting surgery, that maybe not getting surgery was a good thing, that they think that they can treat you without having the actual surgery involved. But
so with cancer, it's a little bit weird, and I have had to learn this in the last several months. With cancer, a lot of times getting to the point where they are willing or believe in the idea of doing surgery, getting to that point is a good thing, because if they close off surgery as an option, it can oftentimes mean that essentially they don't feel like it will help and they don't want to put you through that. In my case, that's exactly how it was. So if they were telling me that they weren't going to do the surgery, it wasn't because I didn't need the surgery. It was because the surgery just wouldn't help. My cancer was too out of control for this surgery to ultimately help. Now, there's a lot of conflicting information out there and all kinds of things. My case has not been the standard of how they would proceed with this kind of cancer, because my surgery happened before we knew it was cancer, my original surgery. So when I had surgery back in June, they opened me up and they were like, oh, this is cancer, but they didn't know that it was cancer prior to that. So they couldn't just plan the optimal debulking surgery that you would normally get in my case. Then when I got to Mayo Clinic, that was at my hospital in St. Louis. When I got to Mayo Clinic, they did scans that led them to believe, oh my gosh, this cancer is already metastasized and is in a bunch of other places, including my liver, which if it had, it's kind of like, oh, well, doing the surgery isn't really going to help this girl. It's just going to put her through a lot of unnecessary surgery and pain and recovery when the cancer is already kind of out of control. But I have kind of proved them wrong a little bit in a lot of ways, in that assuming that the cancer has completely spread around and is all over the place isn't necessarily true in my case. We've done 2 biopsies. Neither of the biopsies have produced cancer cells. Mm-hmm. One was in lymph nodes and one was in my liver. And so there's just been so much uncertainty. What they expected to see wasn't, based on the scans, isn't what they've gotten with me in at any point in this, starting from the beginning when they didn't expect to see cancer.
Yeah.
So I know that's all really, really confusing, but I can assure you that we do have a team of doctors. We've asked for multiple opinions. We've done everything we can do, and the doctors have done everything to fight for figuring out what the next step should be for me. Then the Mayo Clinic had a tumor board back in, I don't know, when was that? Was that in November?
Yeah.
December?
Yeah, I think it was November.
Yeah. November, I don't know. They had a tumor board where this one gynecologic oncologist, kind of who was involved in it, there were multiple that were involved in it, decided that after extensively reviewing my case, and this tumor board was a long conversation, is my understanding. It was a long conversation specifically about my case with a bunch of doctors involved. Mm-hmm. They ultimately decided, yes, surgery is a good option. Let's do surgery. Let's do the hysterectomy. Let's give this girl a shot at a proper debulking surgery. Mm-hmm. And what does debulking mean, Brian?
So debulking basically means what you think it means. They're going in there and they're going to take out anything that they think might be cancer, touched cancer, any of that kind of stuff. That's there. The other part of the surgery, though, is the where they're actually removing organs and all that kind of stuff. But yes, the debulking is I know that they want to remove like some lymph nodes and the omentum and like everything involved.
Anything that might be tumor, that might, anything at all that looks suspicious.
Anything that was whispered to by a tumor. Anything that went to a party with somebody who had a tumor. Just anything and everything.
Tumor.
That
is debulking. So they decided that, yes, we should do a debulking surgery for this girl. She's young. I'm talking about myself now and like
the third person.
Yeah. But I'm young and it's like I am healthy otherwise. And there's a lot of research out there that that does state that it could be, even if, now not a lot of research, but there is some research out there that says even if it has metastasized to my liver, this might actually give me a better shot. Mm-hmm. So the other thing is they're still not convinced that it's metastasized to the liver. And the problem was that there's like too many cooks in the kitchen almost.
Yeah.
Sometimes, which is good and bad because you have a lot of people reviewing your case, but then you also have a lot of different opinions. And with a case that's so like weird like mine, that can be a little bit weird. So what happened was these people decided, yes, this girl should have the hysterectomy and the full debulking surgery in that tumor board. And they also decided that I should consult with a liver surgeon to see if it is cancer in my liver, is there anything they can do with my liver? Like, can they take out any of these lesions in my liver, any of that? So that happened. But then I was assigned a surgeon at Mayo Clinic. And that surgeon kind of wasn't in that original conversation, read the notes from it, but wasn't in that conversation, that very long conversation. Read the notes, met with us, and basically said, okay, I can do this hysterectomy, this, whatever. But if it's in your liver already, then it's probably not a good idea to do the surgery because it's not going to help anyway, kind of down that road was his thinking.
Yeah.
Now, then what happened was the liver surgeon who they assigned me to, they had a tumor board with other liver doctors, and they ultimately decided, nope, it is definitely cancer in this girl's liver, and therefore then the other surgeon that I was assigned was like, well, then we shouldn't do the hysterectomy. We should do another biopsy. He wanted to do another biopsy, and we should do, which was going to be in my uterus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And an exploratory surgery to basically diagnostic surgery, more is a better word, a diagnostic surgery to open me up, do like a laparoscopic surgery to get some tissue out. Therefore, we could get tissue and decide, maybe give us better clues to what my treatment should be in the future. Mm-hmm. Then what happened was we said to my doctor,
your medical oncologist,
my medical oncologist, wait a minute, this surgeon is saying that we shouldn't do this surgery. And he's also saying that we shouldn't do the surgery based on the fact that the liver doctors are not willing to do surgery because the liver doctors said they can't do surgery. And my understanding of the original tumor board was not that those two things were contingent. There was somebody, I was like, there's a surgeon that was in that tumor board that decided the full thing was a good idea and it wasn't contingent upon the liver thing. It was like, also, let's have them check out this liver thing just to cover our bases.
Yeah.
Can we talk to that surgeon? Because if there's a surgeon out there that believed it was a good idea after this long, extensive conversation, I want to at least hear her side and hear from her. And if she tells me, no, after these new developments, whatever, after the review from the liver side, she ultimately, if she says, no, this is not a good idea, then okay, cool. But I want to hear from her. And the doctor was she wanted to hear from her too. She's like, you were told, so it's kind of this like back and forth, but I don't even know where to go next.
So I would say that after talking it over with the medical oncologist and getting her opinion of things, she then contacted the other surgeon to get her opinion on everything. And then meetings were scheduled where we ended up talking to that surgeon, and she laid out everything that she thought. She laid out her experience and everything that she's had with weird cases like Jessica. And in fact, when we told him that the other medical oncologist had called Jessica rare and weird with her case, she proceeded to try and not use the word rare going forward when it came to talking about what the surgery would.
Well, because
she'd be like,
yeah.
She would say, like, well, this could happen, but it's very rare. And then when we told her that everything about her is rare and weird, she's like, okay, I'm not gonna say rare. It's like it doesn't happen. It is not common. And we're like, okay.
Well, because like when you talk about surgery and be like, well, this could happen, but it's really rare. Then it's like, but everything with my case has been really rare. So it's like, okay, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen to me. So, yeah. But yeah, the ultimate thing was, we got a call on we had a call scheduled with my medical oncologist on I think it was December 29th, so right before the new year, the day that I was originally scheduled to have the surgery. And she said, I have good news for you. And those words were like, wait, what? You have good news for us?
We're not used to that.
We're not used to good news. And basically it was that she had discussed it with the original surgeon, who was in that tumor board, like Brian said. And she still firmly believed in the surgery. Mm-hmm. And that was the ultimate thing. It was like, okay, we're not crazy here. There is merit to doing this. And it's not like we're just forcing them to be like, no, you must give me surgery. Like, we asked for their professional opinion, and it's difficult. I understand why the other surgeon got down the route that he got down. I totally understand it. No hard feelings at all or anything. I'm just glad that I'm in, a place where we were able to get another opinion, and that you never want to go into surgery with a surgeon not necessarily fully believing in what the surgery is. And I don't think they would do surgery if they don't fully believe in it ultimately. And so we were able to meet with this surgeon. One of the key things that she said about the whole thing is that no one can tell her that it's cancer except for a pathologist.
Yep.
So when it comes to my liver, there are still other things that these lesions could be. It looks highly suspicious, but even the surgeon that is ultimately going to be doing my surgery tomorrow said that she's seen cases where stuff like this happens, where they find keratin granulomas in these places and it's not cancer. And so she ultimately believes that this is the right direction to go, and we feel really confident, and we had a really great discussion with her. So yeah, we're here. We drove up yesterday and we're ready to get this surgery going tomorrow.
Yes. And the surgery, like we said, is going to be a big surgery.
Yes.
She's going to have a very large scar.
Oh yeah.
Going
told me
down the front. They said breastbone basically on down.
Down past belly button, everything like that. I'm going to have the ultimate scar, which I'm kind of
going to be a big scar.
I kind of like scars. I feel like they're, just like whenever I look at my body, like I can see my scars of when I had my gallbladder out when I was 21, and it's like, yep, that happened. I can see the scars of the other surgery. Like, I don't know. I think scars are cool, but whatever.
Yeah.
But ultimately, do you want me to go through the list of like what the surgery is?
Yes.
So we flashed up on the other video where we thought I was going to be having surgery, and this is basically the same thing, but I kind of know more now, and I wanted to go through. So the first thing that is listed is a laparotomy.
Laparotomy.
Oh.
Wow.
I spent so much time.
She planned and
I
practiced.
spent so much time looking up these fancy words and listening to pronunciations, and then I totally botch it. What is a laparotomy? I bet it's a thing.
I'm sure
it is a thing.
It is. I just don't know.
So I'm having a laparotomy, not a laparectomy. Laparotomy, tumor debulking. And a laparotomy, laparotomy is, what is it?
It is right there.
He's
A
going to read it for him.
Is a surgical incision into the abdominal cavity and surgical removal of as much tumor as possible.
That's the tumor debulking
yes.
part.
So basically the laparotomy is just
the cut.
Just the cut into the abdominal cavity.
And the purpose of that is to do the tumor debulking to remove as much of the tumor as possible, like we explained earlier.
Now the one that most people should know.
Hysterectomy.
Yes.
A hysterectomy is actually a surgical procedure to remove the womb, uterus, also sometimes some other stuff, but basically they're going to be taking out all the stuff. All the stuff that they can take out, they're going to be taken out.
Yeah.
Which actually, the interesting thing about that was another thing that the surgeon said, another reason that she believed in doing surgery. If you remember back when I got my first pathology, there's actually a second kind of cancer, completely different kind of cancer that was in a polyp in my uterus.
Yeah.
And so when they did that D&C where they like scraped down the lining and everything, they actually found this second cancer growing there, and it was very early stages. So the surgeon believed that, hey, you did have that growing in there. There's potential that stuff could try to come back. So taking out the uterus entirely will actually benefit me, in multiple different ways.
Yes.
The next one is, can you pronounce that?
It's a salpingo-oophorectomy. Now, we looked it up. It looks like it says oophorectomy. But apparently it's not pronounced that way. It's pronounced oophorectomy.
And that is surgical removal of the fallopian tube and ovaries, which I've already had the fallopian tube and ovary on the left side removed, so they'll be removing the right side, which this whole thing will basically make it so that I can never carry children or have children, or
yes,
there will be no more eggs retrieved. There will be nothing, which we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yes.
The next thing is the omentectomy.
Yep, that's where they remove the omentum.
The omentum is actually a fold of fatty tissue inside of the abdomen that surrounds the stomach, large intestine, and other abdominal organs. Which, when I read the word fatty tissue, I was like, sweet, they're taking fat out. Okay. But anyway. And then there's another possible thing that she said was like a 1% chance of happening, probably.
Yeah.
And that is?
Resection of the small intestine.
So, and explain what that means. I don't even know.
Basically, they would have to cut out a section of your intestine.
And that's just because the original tumor was attached to the outer layer of my bowel. So there's a possibility there could be some involvement that they will need to do.
Yeah.
They are going to be marking me for a stoma, which means that there's a small possibility I could have to have a colostomy bag temporarily.
Yeah.
That was explained to us when we were going into the surgery. We thought we were for the first time.
Yeah.
It's a very small possibility.
But,
so yeah, just a few little chops and cuts here and there, just gonna happen.
So yeah, she's gonna go through this tomorrow, and then we're gonna be up here for a few weeks while she recovers, because obviously they do not want her in a car or anything while she is recovering from that. And so yeah, we're living in Minnesota for a few weeks.
So yeah, they think I'll be in the hospital probably like 3 to 4 days, maybe a little bit longer, and then we'll be able to go to our Airbnb and have me recover while we're still up in Minnesota until we feel comfortable to drive home.
Yeah.
But I also just realized that we forgot one thing in my list of what I'm having in my surgery, and we'll put the name of it here because I don't know the exact name of it, but it's essentially the removal of lymph nodes. So there are some lymph nodes that I have that are enlarged and suspicious. So they're going to remove those entire things so that they can test it and get all the good, information from that. That's one of the reasons why the cut will go up so high, is because they're going to remove lymph nodes up till the point that they, feel like they
don't show anything.
Yeah, they don't show anything. There were some spots kind of lighting up on the PET scan potentially. So they want to make sure they get everything from there. And the good thing is they're going to get all this material, all this tissue out. They're going to test the heck out of it for like any and everything. And so hopefully we'll have such a better idea of what's going on inside of me. Well, we definitely will, because they'll see it literally. And she even said that she'll be able to like see the surface of my liver and see how it looks and all that. So they'll really get a better idea of what's been going on, but then they'll also have so much more material to work with for testing and just figuring out what kind of treatment going forward could help me. So how am I feeling about the surgery? How am I feeling, Brian?
You are excited, and you are scared, and you are everything else that you, I mean, and I agree. I mean, I'm in the exact same boat. I feel excited that it is happening. I also feel a bit scared that it is happening, because you never know what's going to happen during surgery. You will always hope for the fact that these people know what they're doing, and all of that kind of stuff. But still, at the same time, I mean, it's a major surgery, and things happen, and you just kind of got to go with it. I know it's a very small percentage chance that it happens, but it's there. It's in my head.
I mean, I was definitely up the other night Googling, like, what are the odds of dying during a hysterectomy or da-da-da-da kind of thing. And it's like, okay, well, they're not very high odds, but, I think it's weird to be excited for a surgery, but it's just like, I think it gives us hope. The surgeon didn't say this, but went like just the step before saying, there's maybe potential that I could like actually become cancer free after this. In my head, I have that hope that maybe this will happen. Maybe whatever's in my liver is definitely not cancer, and maybe I can be cancer free. She didn't say that, but they don't want to give false promises, obviously, but maybe that's potential. And so I'm excited on that respect. I'm terrified. I'm also, I think in my head, I'm kind of like, the recovery is going to be a lot more difficult than it seems like it's going to be in my head. It's like, oh yeah, it'll be fine, but it's going to be a pretty big cut and pretty big, massive, whatever. But I feel like I'm in really good hands, and I'm ready to do this. I'm also, there's part of me that there's such a permanence with the removal of this, like, we were talking about, we've been lucky enough to do some egg retrieval. We have 3 embryos that are ready for transfer, that are genetically tested, that everything is good to go with. So we have those 3 embryos, but after this surgery, that's it. When it comes to like me, for sure, definitely I won't be able to carry a child, but also like I won't be able to even produce any more eggs. So like if one of those 3 embryos doesn't work out, like we will no longer be able to have biological children.
Yeah.
And there's kind of a permanence of, right now, it's not likely that we would be able to do more egg retrieval or that I'd ever be able to get pregnant anyway, just given what I'm going under. And so, but it's like that permanence of, oh, okay, that stuff's removed. That ship sailed. So there's a little bit that goes along with that. That definitely keeps me up at night and whatever, but I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I feel like this is just our path, and so we just have to kind of go with it.
Yeah, I completely agree.
How is Peef feeling? Peef is pumped. He is in his Mayo Clinic shirt, and he is ready for surgery.
Yeah, but that's basically it for the update, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's everything. There's a lot going on, obviously, but at the same time, like, the
bottom line is I'm getting my surgery, and we will try to film as much as we can as far as, keeping you guys updated. I'll probably post on social media as well, just to let you guys know, hey, I'm still alive. I made it through the surgery. So if you aren't following us on Instagram at Crocs in the Kitchen or Facebook Crocs in the Kitchen, follow us there, and you'll probably get an update on my survivability.
Yes.
Before we post it on YouTube. But
yeah, if you want to keep following along, though, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and click the bell that is right next to it. You'll get notified whenever we post a new video. She already said the thing about Instagram and Facebook, so I don't need to do that spiel either. But I think that's all we got.
That's definitely all I got.
We will see you next time on Crocs in the Hotel Room.
Or Airbnb. Or kitchen.
Or kitchen.
You never know where we'll be.
We could show up anywhere. Bye.